You mentioned Rickard Rakell. You think that's another one of the better signings?
Yeah, aside from the length, again, I mean, the length, listen, every contract that Hextall signed, the length of all of them, we could have questions about. We can, but that's not what we're here to do, because since that was just across the board, we're going to knock all of those as there was a downside to each of the deals. But I like Rickard Rakell coming back just because that's the one I wanted to see back. I was fully prepared. Again, I was fully prepared for Bryan Rust to walk away for nothing and was almost not wanting it, but was almost fully ready for it. Whereas I basically did want it. Like, hey, let's utilize some cap space, find something new. Let's rearrange some stuff. Turns out Bryan Rust was number one on the priority list, above the return of the main guys. So I don't hate having Bryan Rust around. As a matter of fact, his contract might be the best one. It's long, but hey, you can back out at the end, which is kind of nice.
So a couple of things here, and I will run down my best and worst because you talked about it in that there. My worst contract is Rickard Rakell.
Worst? Okay. I have a worst one.
To me, that is the worst thing that Ron Hextall did all summer long. And don't get me wrong. And when I say this, don't try to cancel me. Don't say I hate Rickard Rakell. I don't. The player, Rickard Rakell, I'm very excited to see what he's able to do in a full season with the Penguins. But 6 years for that player at $5 million a year when he has not produced at the level that he is getting paid for in several years. You can say he was with the Ducks. I don't care. You're paying him to produce. He didn't in the last couple of years. He looked great. Don't get me wrong. He looked fantastic since coming over at the trade deadline. But a 6-year, $5 million per year contract, when you've only seen him score 13 points in 19 games with the Pittsburgh Penguins, it feels like a lot of people, and especially the people that are singing the praises of this deal, saying, yes, Rickard Rakell should have been higher on the priority list. Sign him earlier. Sign him before Rust. No. Why would you do that? Because Rickard Rakell is basically, as of right now to me, no different than Jason Zucker was after his first little part of the season. He had a great end of the year he got traded. Now he has to do better than that. And here's the thing. The Penguins didn't re-sign Jason Zucker because they got him with term left. So he's obviously heading into his last year. That's an entirely different story. But with Rickard Rakell, not only do you sign him for $5 million, which is a little bit above market for the players of his caliber we're signing for this summer, but you sign him for 6 years and you tack on that modified no trade clause for all 6 years. Ron Hextall didn't do a poor job at anything. He wasn't abysmal at really anything this summer. But to me, that is the worst move he made during the summer months.
That's fair enough. And I don't totally disagree with the things you're saying. The modified no trade clause is harsh for him. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The length of it is harsh. But again, like I said, the length of every deal was a little harsh.
Just here.
Yeah. It's long. It's very long. I just do want to see what he can do with this team for a full year. So you almost take the Rakell deal like the old Brandon Tanev deal. You're going to take it a year at a time and see where it goes, but it's a little harder. I don't know. I just enjoyed the deal because I pretty much wanted him back more than I wanted Bryan Rust back. If we only had the Rakell deal and not the Rust deal, would you look at it the same way?
No, because I would say they should have had Bryan Rust back instead of Rickard Rakell. He's better. He's better. That's why that's the best move that they made. Prioritizing Bryan Rust, a guy who has been on pace for 30 goals the past 3 seasons, an 82-game pace of over 30 goals, including a 40-goal, 82-game pace in 2019-20, a guy that can play with Sidney Crosby, a guy that has showed that he can play with Evgeny Malkin, and a guy that once he gets a little bit older, maybe you move him to a middle 6 PK guy. Like, he's able to do that. If he loses his feet, he's still going to be that guy that is smart enough to go out there on the penalty kill and make really good plays. So 6 years at $5.12 million with great clause protection. That's the thing. Yes, you have Bryan Rust for 6 years. He's 30. He's going to be 36 at the end of that deal. Probably not going to be anywhere near the player that he is right now. But one, he has the ability, and you've shown it, that he's a 30-goal guy in this organization. You've seen that before. 2, he is a guy that can play power play, even strength, penalty kill. And if he gets older and he can't score the goals, he can still become that penalty kill expert. And 3, the freaking clauses get me. First 3 years, no move. He's staying in Pittsburgh no matter what, which are going to be clearly the best 3 years. And then the last 3, there's not a single clause. It's not modified. It's not 10-team no trade list. There is no clauses, and you can get out from under this contract fairly easily. Now, I know $5 million is a lot to give up on somebody, but a team is going to take that on for an aging Bryan Rust because he's still going to be a guy that'll put up 10 to 15 goals when he's the age of 34. And he can play that penalty kill. So I think that is clearly, to me, the best move. And if you had to ask me at the beginning of the offseason, Bryan Rust or Rickard Rakell, Bryan Rust should have always been the priority. And apparently Ron Hextall and Brian Burke agreed.